Hello, ladies and gents. It's Proclamation News and Gavin's with the prodigious Commons Professor Johnson. We're live on podcast, live on YouTube, live on Castbox, Apple Cast, Podbean, you name it. Proclamation News and Gavin's claimed it. It's a bit of a strange old week on the old political front. Sir Keir Starmer criticising Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson for the his Christmas antics, and before March last year, the garden gatherings with the work colleagues. Sir Keir Starmer has been caught amicably drinking himself. Funny, isn't it? It's funny how they criticise, but doing their own thing. They're doing their own thing, but exactly the same thing they're criticising the other one. How ironic is that? As we call pot, kettle, black. That's the name for that, the phrase for that. Anyway, before you enter UK roads, think safety, think first. Do not enter your vehicle under sleep deprivation, under influence of alcoholism or narcotics. Make sure you got tax, MOT, cars insured, a driving licence, funny enough. Sounds ironic to some of the youth today, but there's some juveniles out there that will get in a vehicle, probably under the influence of everything, under the influence of sleep deprivation, under the influence of alcohol, under the influence of getting a car, no tax, MOT or insurance, just driving willy-nilly, thinking they're just all they are is little Herberts, absolute recubates destroying humanity. Check your water content, engine oil, make sure they're topped up to maximum level. Check your PSI limits, making sure you've plenty sufficient air pressure in tyres. PSI limits on side of tyres, making sure your tyres are not bald. Making sure you and passengers have seatbelts on and babies have seatbelt adapters adjacent to the car seat. Thank you, Mr. Ray. Check for further police actions, further road safety signs. Check for road workers. Be vigilant when you drive around road workers, because will be road workers sign up 9 times out of 10. If you see a road worker's house fencing up, be vigilant around their work, because if a worker is to leer behind the fence, you're going at as high speed, you might hit a road worker, which is your fault. Checking centre mirror, wing mirror before turning and acting into a safe, sufficient direction choice. Check over your opposing shoulder before turning into that direction, because you might be having a motorcycle to overtake. Anyway, as we move on to UK roads, right in my constituency, first off, we have an incident on the A120. Slow traffic on A120 Vauxhall Road around Great Tay Road in the construction of temporary traffic lights are in operation. I just want to give you a bit of who I am. You think, why is he doing this? Why is he on the radio every day? We're talking about political. I'm a local councillor, part of the Conservative Party, part of the committee team, and we're working hard day in, day out to make Turnback constituency organic green. I do report things like traffic lights not working at main roads, on the main roundabout coming into Colchester, going to Clacton and going back out to London. There's no traffic lights, no Christmas. Someone hit that roundabout and I think someone died at the scene apparently. But anyway, I reported the roundabout no lights to the Essex County Council. We got someone out to, I think they get someone out to fix the ECU, and it's a major task, isn't it? It's an operation that could save lives, so that's what I do. And looking at things, local shopping centres, broken bollards, which there was one, and it's been now fixed by the local authorities, which could have fallen over, killed a baby, or fell on a mother or father's foot as they went to the shop. And a manhole cover, which was for the lamppost lights, I believe. Yeah, it's for the lamppost lights. So a manhole cover, if you know what I mean, next to the lamppost in the road. So it was caved in, so a dear old lady who fell down that, or an old man, or a young lad, or someone like myself, fell down the hole, probably broke their shin. So me reporting these little incidents could save someone's shin, or save someone's life. That's exactly what I do. So if you're in my constituency in Essex, you want to give me anything that you might face a bit of provocation to your community or society, please let me know. A127, partially blocked, accident, slow traffic. Partially blocked and slow traffic due to accident on A127 South End Arterial Road eastbound from A1245 Fairglen interchange to A129 Rayleigh Road, Rayleigh, where 11:28 first reported. These are all today's reports. M11, A13. This is northeast of London, well, Greater London, I believe. A113, queue and traffic, construction area on A113, High Road near Vicarage Lane in the construction area. Temporary traffic lights are in operation. 11:43. A Vicarage Lane, we all know what a Vicarage Lane is. It's usually the vicar of the church that's nearby is where he lives, down Vicarage Lane, usually. A1009, road blocked in it and very slow traffic due to accident on A1009, Hall Lane at A1037. Waltham Way, the Old Hall Tavern. Congestion to the A1112 Chingford bound road between Crooked Billet and A1009 Hall Lane. Detour is in operation for bus route 444. I'm going to do one more report of car incident. I like to give out car incidents. It gives you guys a bit of an insight. Plan your destination. Why would you plan your destination? You got to get to a doctor's appointment. You got to get to the airport. You got to take your wife to give birth to your child or whatever. You haven't planned your destination. That road, that lane is closed. Your wife is about to give birth of your newborn child. You didn't make to the hospital because her waters broke, and now she's giving birth inside your vehicle. That's the importance of planning your destination. Save fuel as well. You could break down, couldn't you, if you didn't plan? If you just put enough fuel to go from A to B, not put enough fuel on board, you got to remember, you got to make way for incidents, roadworks, congestion, road closure, lane closed, and weather incidents. This is West of London, M4, road closed and delays due to roadworks until the early hours of Monday morning on M4, both ways between Junction 4B, M25 interchange, and Junction 3, Hayes and Heston. Congestion to eastbound approach and similar delays on the diversion route. Detour is in operation at 7:20 a.m. I'm not going to tell you guys what side of the fence or left or right or centre, what side of the fence you want to jump on board on politics. Up to you. Each to their own destination. Some people do it through traditional values. I was going to say conservative values, but obviously conservative means traditional, but it's also a bit biased to who I want you to come and support. But anyway, if you're Labour, if you're SNP, or if you're Lib Dem, whatever, it's all part and parcel being involved in politics. I'm not going to tell you what cultural route to go, because your family will bring you up in whatever diverse you'll be following. So that's that really. I am conservative through and through, and I do like to sell a good story of Conservative Party. That's why I am an activist on there. Yes, and the monster raving loony party. We can call that Sir Keir Starmer's party. But anyway, yeah, it's good to get involved in politics. Even bring your children up to get involved in politics. Getting involved in politics is better than getting involved down the pub with 9 till 5 with your mates. I promise you that. Look after your health. Look after your, just looking after your child's well-being. If you drink in the pub in society, you might end up getting beaten up, like I did when I was 18. So it's very, very important to get his children involved in something, using their cognitive skills, perhaps. Anyway. I'm a Conservative Party, like I say, through the realms of my granddad being under Winston Churchill in World War II, and I was born in the postmodernism era of 1983. That was also when the Great Maze Escape, the biggest prison escape in Great Britain was the Great Maze Escape. I think 37 prisoners escaped and run raggedy through Cardiff. The IRA, they got inside the prison, smuggled 2 handguns and a 7-inch blade. They left one of the screws in a pool of blood and dug a hole out of the corner of the cell, and they all escaped. There you go. As we move along, if you do sign up to Conservative Party, this is how much it is. Under 26, £5 a year. Standard membership is £25 a year. Armed Forces, if you're an ex-armed force or armed forces, £15 a year. Members play an active role in a party can attend annual conference and receive voting rights in party elections. After 3 months of membership, all for £25 per year or £2 per month. The reason why I get involved, I've got niece, I've got nephew, I've got my own children. You want to make, you know, you want to implement laws with them, don't you? But with the other politicians, you want to get involved. You think something's not right at school, not getting the education they need, or the school's not, taking, bullying into consideration. Get involved in politics, make that difference, make that change. Make sure your children are getting what they need to throughout life. We've all been through life, Tom, and getting yourself involved. Being a Conservative member, you can help them win elections, choose candidates and vote in leadership elections. Take part in our campaign groups. Come to the conference, stand for election, connect with local Conservatives, influence party policy, get the latest from inside the party. There you go. What does Conservative mean? Conservative means averse to change or innovation and holding traditional values. In a political context, favouring free enterprise, private ownership and socially traditional ideas. Purposely for sake of caution. Burgers, yes please, I need some burgers in my life. Sort me out some burgers. Anyway, we're going to have a short break. I've got to share these car incidents on Twitter. I've got quite a bit of following on Twitter. I like to share the car incidents of what's going on around my constituency and around London area. Stay tuned, guys. Sorry, everyone. I'm doing my radio. I'm still trying to interact with you as well at the same time. Keep everyone LBC. LBC. If you have a short break for about 5 minutes, I'll just share this. Someone loves burgers in my building today. That is lovely. Loves burgers. Can't moan at a man for loving burgers. Man burgers for dinner. Man burgers for dinner. Nothing like burgers. Might be a bit of a second question.
Power on.
Amazon will show the football on the TV on Christmas and Boxing Day. I've got Amazon, and one of the things they ask for, or is you have to, is the ability to pay a license fee in order, in theory, to watch Amazon Prime, for which you're paying a subscription. And the reason is that live events, particularly sport, need to come with a license fee having been paid. Now, I think that's ludicrous. I'm not using
thanks a lot, guys.
To the BBC or anything like that. I pay for my internet connection and I pay for my Amazon Prime subscription. And if I wanted to watch the football, I should be able to without paying a license fee, even though it's a live event.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that, but I think that's not the real reason behind why they're doing it either. That's my opinion.
They haven't. Yes. Okay, but the interests of media plurality and subscription model media and fairness to the consideration here, John, your view is that it's entirely or primarily political.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I actually agree. I do agree in terms of it should be reviewed from BBC's something to be reviewed, absolutely. If everybody else is being squeezed, I think they should be a little bit or at least look into that. Or is that the sole reason we're doing this, or is there another reason for it?
Good to speak to you, John. Thank you very much indeed. Tom, these announcements are just more dead cats. Man, there are a lot of dead cats. Sounds awful.
You try and get my box.
Dead cats that are being put on the table, trying to distract attention and ease pressure on him to go, says Tony in Maidstone. Here's Joan, I'm sorry, but how does the BBC argument help the integrity of the Tory party if their MPs can be bought off from holding Johnson to account by sacking others and throwing in BBC and using the military to carry out civilian responsibilities? Have they no integrity at all? The thing is, if I was a campaigning backbench Conservative MP and I'd struggle to get my issue through to Downing Street or through the government, this is the perfect time at which to try. The Prime Minister has lost authority. There are questions about his future. You have, if you were that backbench MP, the power to put in your letter or to start, making noises off. So a lame duck Prime Minister can be very useful for people who want to achieve certain aims, whether or not you agree with those aims. It's not, unfortunately, a moment to ask here. This is about, I think, 6060973. Here's Chris in Norwich. Hi, Chris.
Hi, how you doing?
Thanks a lot, Bryce.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of the producer. I haven't watched. I was thinking about it when I was listening to your conversation. I can honestly say I don't think I've watched, listened, or read anything the BBC have put out in the last 10 years. Everything I had live streaming now. I don't even have Sky TV. Everything is Amazon, Netflix, Apple TV, whatever's available. It costs me X amount a month, but I would rather pay that every month. I know I've got a huge choice and variety of everything I want to watch, as opposed to paying a subscription service to the BBC, which is what it is. If people call it a license fee, we're all mandated by law to pay the BBC the equivalent of about £13, £14 a month.
Well, only in certain circumstances. You're not born having to pay the license fee.
No, you're not. But if you want a TV, you've got to pay the BBC. If I want to watch 8 out of 10 Cats on Channel 4, I have to pay the BBC the privilege for doing so. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. I don't understand the logic. There's no analog signal left in this country anymore. Everything's digital. If the BBC really wanted to raise money, they wanted to stop this whole argument, go subscription based. Really, I know I wouldn't pay £13 a month, which is technically what it is at the moment, to watch the BBC. I don't watch it. And the whole argument of, we're going to miss out on great shows like Attenborough and Line of Duty, they'll still be there. They just may be on a different channel. And the BBC will get funded, and they will still pay this, because those sorts of programs generate the millions and millions and millions they sell these programs to other countries.
It always surprises me, Chris, that people say they use the Attenborough as one of the programs that could go if the license fee is fiddled around with and the money is cut. And Attenborough's a great thing, and people really like David Attenborough. The work that he's done is astonishing, and the programs that he makes are wonderful. I would happily vote for something that got rid of Mrs. Brown's Boys. That is how that's still on the television.
I would pay extra to get rid of shows like that. Things like EastEnders, when ratings have been plummeting for years on the BBC, and it's not because
Christmas we get another Mrs. What is it?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I still enjoy watching the old Only Fools and Horses remake every now and again. Replay on TV. Who doesn't? But it's 2022. There's so much content available out there. There's so much better shows out there at the moment. And the fact that I have to pay by law and risk criminal conviction if I don't pay it to watch Ted Lasso on Apple TV is ridiculous.
Chris, good to speak to you. Thank you very much indeed. 03456060973 is the number. More of your calls to come. Plus, after the news, an astonishing story that broke in the week. A suggestion after an FOI emails were released to an American committee looking into this, that scientists in February 2020 believed it was likely that COVID originated from a lab, but were told that playing up those fears and suggestions would be difficult for science both around the world and in China, and the suggestion is that they downplayed it in order to get rid of that fear. We'll talk about that in more detail after the news. 12:30 now. Here's Tim Humphrey.
Labour says there should never be another lockdown, setting out its plan to
Going to move forward. We know there's not going to be another lockdown, Boris already said that. But anyway, we're talking about Brexit. Brexit is going to be a long thing at the road ahead. They're still talking with talks with the Northern Ireland Protocol at the moment. Talks to intensify next week. Latest talks on the Northern Ireland Protocol, where cordial and intensified negotiations are due next week. UK and the EU say negotiators have been holding a fresh round of talks aimed at reaching an agreement on changes to the protocol. The protocol keeps Northern Ireland in the EU single market for goods, and EU customs rules are enforced at its ports. That means new paperwork and processes when importing materials and equipment from Great Britain. Liz Truss is in good talks with Maros Sefcovic over the past 2 days. Read our joint statement. Foreign Secretary Liz Truss and Commission Vice President Markus Sefcovic held their first meeting at Chevening on the 13th of the 14th of January. The meeting took place at a cordial atmosphere. They agreed that officials would next week intensify talks and that the principals would meet again on the 24th of January. We share a desire for positive relationship between the UK and the EU, underpinned by our shared belief in freedom and democracy. Right Honourable Liz Truss. Foreign Secretary Liz Truss and Markus Sefcovic, the EU chief negotiator, issued a joint statement outlining their shared a desire for positive relationship and commitment to meet on January the 24th. Last time there was a joint statement on the protocol was last February when Michael Gove was lead UK negotiator. The UK is seeking fundamental changes to the operation and oversight of the protocol, while the EU has offered limits changes amid at reducing the effect on Northern Ireland businesses. I'll be with you in a minute, Yorkshire lad. I think there's a deal to be done. I don't want to make progress, said Miss Truss earlier. Thank you for the gift as well. A different approach, but no progress as yet. When Lord Frost became the minister responsible for the protocol, one of his first actions was unilaterally extend grace periods, without lifting a phone to tell Markus Sefcovic what was coming. The approach from Liz Truss could be more different. Mr. Sefcovic was treated to a sun-dapped stroll on the grounds of Chevening, the Foreign Office country mansion. A joint statement of the negotiations has also been a rarity in recent times, but it does not yet appear to have been progress in terms of substance. Technical negotiations, which were paused over Christmas holidays, will now intensify. So we will have to wait till Miss Truss and Mr. Sefcovic will meet again later this month to get a sense of whether there is a deal to be done. Meanwhile, an industry survey suggests more businesses may be getting to grips with the effect the Northern Ireland Protocol was agreed by the EU and UK government in October 2019. But the Unionist Party says that this is so-called Irish sea border undermined Northern Ireland's position in the UK. Manufacturing Northern Ireland surveyed 163 Northern Ireland-based manufacturers in the first week of January. More work is required. Just under a quarter of the manufacturing Northern Ireland survey respondents said they were still struggling with protocol processes. However, that is significantly down from 41% when the manufacturing Northern Ireland conducted in its last survey in July 2021. The survey also showed an increase in respondents saying they had seen an increase in businesses with the rest of the UK as a result of the protocol. Under the terms of the protocol, goods entering Great Britain from Northern Ireland ports are not subject to check and controls. Manufacturing Northern Ireland said this suggested that confusion around the state of Northern Ireland goods are unfettered as in early 2021 has reduced. GB consumers are increasingly looking at Northern Ireland to supply them as supply chains in Great Britain, which become strained under new Brexit import requirements. However, the organisation cautioned that the UK and the EU would have to do more to live up to the commitments given to Northern Ireland. It said the commitment from both the UK and the EU in the protocol preamble was that the application of the protocol should impact as little as possible on everyday life of the communities in Northern Ireland. The survey confirms this is not the experience for many firms, so more work is required. Got a little talk with Sir Keir Starmer. Sir Keir Rodney Starmer. Absolute Rodney. Hi, Bear. I'll be 10 minutes. 10 minutes, I'll be with you. Sir Keir Starmer, born on the 2nd of September, 3 days before me, but how many years? 21 years before me, 1962, is a British politician and former lawyer who served as a leader of the Labour Party and leader of the opposition since 2020. He was a Member of Parliament from Holborn and St Pancras since 2015. There you go. Sir Keir Starmer. This is funny. Sir Keir Starmer, this is what we all talk about. He backlashed at Boris Johnson. Johnson called him Captain Hindsight. My goodness. But here we go. Hey, Bear, give me 5 minutes, I'll be with you. Keir Starmer says drinking beer in Durham, absolutely no comparison with Boris Johnson. So he's saying this is what I call pot kettle black. He's jumping in the media all over Boris Johnson and in QAs, saying Boris Johnson is a wreck for drinking in March. But then he's drinking himself. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer said a picture showing him drinking a beer with staff on April 30th last year is absolutely no comparison with the Prime Minister and was not a breach of rules. Sir Keir was asked on BBC's Sunday morning programme about the footage published in the Mail on Sunday, which shows him holding a bottle while chatting with a woman believed to be a Labour MP, Mary Foy, in New Durham constituency offices. Labour leader said, I was in the constituency offices just days before the election. We were very busy. We were working in the office. We stopped for something to eat and then carried on working. No party, no breach of the rules, and absolutely no comparison with the Prime Minister. He added it was perfectly lawful to meet for work, which is what we were doing. The party that was put to the Prime Minister on Wednesday happened because an invitation was sent to 100 people saying, let's have a social distant drinks in the garden and bring your booze. There's simply no comparison. Sir Keir said also hopes Plan B restrictions can be lifted as soon as possible. Speaking on BBC's Sunday morning programme, Sir Keir said, I think the sooner we can lift the final restrictions, the better. I think that's what the whole country wants. I think it's important that we led by the science on this. We had to access the government scientific and medical advisors, and that's helped us from our views. I hope that those restrictions will be lifted as soon as possible, but I want them to be lifted. The medical science says they should be lifted, not simply because the Prime Minister is in a real mess and he's desperately trying to get out of it. So if it is the thing to lift those restrictions, we will vote to lift those restrictions, but we'll be led by the science as we always have been, not by politics propping up by a programme Prime Minister. Anyway, ladies and gents, I'm going to leave that there. Thank you for tuning in. Proclamation News and Gatherings with the prodigious, the prominent Professor Johnson. There. How are you doing? How are you doing?